Hey, welcome to the Daily Beard for August 8th, 2019. I'm doing this late. It's actually almost 9 o'clock. I'm going to talk a little bit about a film, but in a book. It'll make sense in a second. So I'm going to start by saying, number one, I used to read a lot. Once upon a time. When I was a kid, I hated reading. My dad worked for a bookstore chain. I hated reading. I was terrible at it. I hated it. He used to bribe me. I still hated it. Didn't barely get any money out of the bribe. My sister used to get like $5 a week for reading 5 books. I got $1, and it would be excruciating to get through. But somewhere in there, as I hit like mid-teens, it flipped. My sister stopped reading. I read, and I started reading a lot of things. And then I read a ton. And then training college happened. And like the year before training college, I was reading voraciously. It was just all the time. And then I got told I wasn't leadership, had no leadership ability and potential, and and I kind of just, it crushed me for a while, and I stopped. I literally stopped reading. And now this ties into movies. I didn't start reading again until a couple of years ago. Like I read occasionally, spy book here, spy book there, but an occasional book on theology, God stuff. But for the most part, I wasn't reading all that much. And I'm not saying I'm reading a lot now. Comparatively, I'm reading more now than I have for years, but I'm still nowhere close to what I used to do. But this ties into movies. How, you'd say? Well, movies, I think, are really important. Books are important, don't get me wrong. Movies, though, are really important, especially to me. And because of that, people who know me know that I love movies, right? It's a thing. People ask me, like, they'll be like, hey, what do you think of this movie? Because they know I love movies. And they're, oh, is this going to be a good movie? Is this going to be a bad movie? And, like, I get that a lot. What's the best movie ever? Or what's this? What's your favorite movie? I get all these questions a lot, and it's fine. I don't mind answering them ever because I love movies. But I got given this to me. It's not mine to keep. I got it. One of my small group guys. His dad plays in a band with me. Not an actual band, like a worship team band at church. We're on the same worship team. He's a really talented guitar player. His name is John. And in December, I think, he gave me this. He just on a Sunday morning said, hey, there's a book you should read. And he's like, it's all about film and stuff. And he kind of gave me a quick rundown. And I was like, cool, thanks. And I took it. And I've been 3 times tried to start it. And every time I was stopped by different reasons. Not that I didn't want to read. I just got stopped for various reasons. And so this time we went on vacation, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that book. So take this book, it's by David Gilmour, who's a Canadian author, and it's called The Film Club. What it's about is his son in grade 10. I'm going to put that down. In grade 10, hated going to school. Almost failed grade 9. Pretty much hated going to school. Didn't want to go. Hated being there, hated the classes, just wasn't good at school, and had no interest in doing it. And so he literally decides with his ex-wife to pull him out of school. And at the same time, he was a CBC film critic, which is CBC's Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And he was kind of losing his job. And so he was going to be in between jobs. And so he had extra time. And so he moved back into his old house. His ex-wife moved to his loft, and he had a wife now, and so she moved in with him and stuff. And they basically he talked to his son and said, okay, you don't have to do school anymore, but you have to do this thing with me 3 times a week where we watch films. I'm going to teach you about films. And his son's all for it because he doesn't have to go to school. He doesn't have to get up before 12. He doesn't, it's like, what teenager doesn't want this? And he thinks he's making a huge mistake, but he can't figure out any other way to do this and try and salvage anything for his son. And it's all about the journey they take over the next 3 years of him teaching him film, and him just saying, look at this, I want you to pay attention to this particular thing in this film, or after he'd watched the film, he'd ask him questions like, well, what do you think of this? Why do you think of this? This is why they did this. And he'd explain things. And then later on, his son would pick up things and actually like learn tons about film from this. And throughout this, it talks about his son growing and dating girls and how much it changed him. And like he broke up with this girl and it broke his heart, and then the next girl, and then this, you know, it's like, and how he was doubting himself as a father. Was he destroying his son's future? And but at the core of it is this film club where they watch films 3 times a week, and like how that develops his son through teenage years. I think films are really important. It's an interesting book. It's good. At the end, it's interesting, and I'll spoil it for you because you're probably not going to read it. But his son, by the time his son hits 18, basically his son's just like, I think I want to go back to school. But he doesn't want to go back to school. He just wants to finish high school. He wants to take the tests to get the equivalency. And so he ends up doing that so he could go to university. And he ends up going to university. He graduates and passes everything. And so the 3 years wasn't wasted. It got him to the point where he wanted to learn again. And so with that, it's a good book. I enjoyed it. I actually read it in 2 days, which, you know, I would have read that probably in about an afternoon when I was reading. But I found it interesting, but it's all about the power of film. It's all about the love of film and how film can change you. And I honestly, people like ask, why do you love movies so much? Like, why not TV? And TV is fine. I like TV. I got nothing against TV. There's something about a film. Part of it is something there's about going into a dark room with other people and experiencing film. And I'm going to talk about that another day. But there's something about films, stories that last roughly 2 hours, where there's an arc and some stuff happens and people change and grow, or don't change and grow and make mistakes again and again, and you learn from that. And it's just a portal into somebody else's world for a short time. And for some reason, I love that. And just, I see my life through that. It literally shaped who I was as a person. My role models were all characters from film. Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China and Peter Venkman from Ghostbusters make up half of who I am. Literally. Half of who I am as a person are owed to those characters, which, for better or worse, like, you know, I found out later some people hate those characters, but I'm like, I love those characters. And so I don't know, I found it really interesting. I have to thank John for that. I'm going to give it back to him now that I've read it. But film is powerful. Film is important. And I think I've rambled on enough about it, but I just wanted to talk about that today. So thanks for watching. You have a great day. God bless.